As the reclamation quarterback success stories continue to pile on, is this the way of the future in the NFL? We're exploring that today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app.
Joe, happy Tuesday to you. Happy Victory Tuesday to the Detroit Lions, our Lions.
We
didn't pick them, but
I know. Feel bad about it.
They've been our Lions for what, since Dan Campbell's second year?
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, we like what's going on here. We're doing some nice stuff. We like they draft good players. Well, big dub.
Looked a lot like the Lions, Kyle.
They did look a lot
like the Lions.
Yeah. 38 points, 295-plus yard touchdown drives in Baltimore.
Big fourth down conversion.
Yep. Go for the kill, right?
Go for the kill. Harbaugh went for not the kill. Lost the game.
It's the second time this year, right?
Yeah, anytime you can give the ball back to Josh Allen or an offense that's moving the ball up and down the field for you with the game on the line, you got to do it.
Yeah, well.
Derrick Henry fumbles.
Another one. Never happened 3 weeks in a row in Derrick Henry's entire career. The NFL level. Never fumbled 3 consecutive weeks before.
He's mad about it.
Oh,
then he fumbled the helmet spike too, you know. So
and then he almost fumbled sitting on the bench.
That was not good.
So, anyway. Does Jared Goff count as a reclamation quarterback?
I had that down as one of the questions I wanted to ask you.
Oh, there we go. There's a segue from the game last night into today's conversation, which is looking at quarterbacks who I think it probably has to come with a qualifier being drafted early, right? They're drafted early by a team with the intention of being a franchise quarterback, and then things don't work well in that first spot. And that goes to that conversation that you and I have had many times of, do you build a team and then look to acquire a quarterback when you're ready, or do you take the quarterback first because you're in position to do so and then try to build the team around, right? And more often than not, the teams will take the quarterback first. If the circumstances and situation aren't right, those players struggle and they usually run out of time, and then they become one of these reclamation quarterbacks that we're talking about here on the show.
And there's been some success, and I'm excited to kind of really break out this conversation with you because I want to get into the success stories, the possible, right, next wave of reclamation quarterbacks, and then just some philosophical conversations behind this decision-making, as right now the toast of the league is Daniel Jones and what he's done so far this year. I mean, it's 3 games, and 3 games is not nothing, and I think Colts fans are probably pretty excited about where that offense is going under Daniel Jones. And so that's what's kind of sparked this conversation. And, oh, by the way, Daniel Jones, number 1 quarterback in the NFL right now in terms of EPA per dropback.
Very impressive numbers for Daniel Jones. I think you can look across the league to Baker Mayfield, reclamation quarterback, Daniel Jones, reclamation quarterback, Sam Darnold, reclamation quarterback. Seattle, Joe, DVOA is one of the top 5 teams in the league. They're cooking.
Yep.
San Francisco, they got the bad news with Nick Bosa going down. So maybe Sam Darnold, they could put together a little bit of a run here, right? Where else? Those were the 3 off the top of my head, and I got to switch my browsers around to get the rest of my notes up. Who else do you have for success stories?
Well,
it's reclamation.
Yeah, so we got Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
I think Jared Goff counts. This is a guy that was traded like as a throw-in with 2 first-round picks for Matthew Stafford. They were done.
Think the only exception that I think would come there is he had productive seasons and he took the Rams to a Super Bowl.
Baker Mayfield had productive season and won a playoff game for the Browns, right?
He did.
So at least think about that. Do you count Geno Smith? Probably not, right? As a guy that was like a second-round pick.
I think if the qualifying criteria requires you to be drafted early with the intent of being a team's franchise quarterback, then probably not.
On the flip side of this, when you think of like failure stories, Carson Wentz, Mitch Trubisky is probably your 2 best examples of guys that were in this opportunity. Wentz with Washington, Trubisky with Pittsburgh, and obviously they didn't fulfill the reclamation.
Wentz with the Colts.
Yeah, you got a couple of chances, right?
Yeah. Let me pull up the NFL draft history at quarterback and just kind of review the early draft picks. I love this website, by the way.
Draft history?
Yeah.
Yeah, super good. Super good.
The Dolphins were one of the first teams to try the Josh Rosen deal.
Yeah.
It's the downside of this whole conversation that we're talking about, right?
I would say with Josh Rosen, he never really built a meaningful resume. They took a quarterback number 1 overall the next year, right?
Right.
But that's a good call out.
I think that's probably. I mean, I'm back to like 2010, and I don't see guys that didn't work out just didn't work out. Yeah. Right? This has only really become a thing starting with the 18, 17, 16 draft classes. Last 10 years.
What's really fascinating to me about kind of the big 3 of Jones, Darnold, Mayfield, it wasn't even the next team that they went to.
Right.
Jones went to Minnesota, and now he's with Indy. Sam Darnold, to Carolina, San Francisco, and then he validates himself with Minnesota, and now it looks like things are going to go well in Seattle. Baker Mayfield, old enough to remember him being on the Panthers and him being on the Rams, and then he goes into
Panthers had 2 of these guys at the same time.
Isn't that crazy? And here they are.
That's the testament to the situation, right?
Yes.
It's this. You have to be able to weed through the player flaws versus the situation. But there is a and the one thing that we can say for absolute certainty, and we're going to get into this next, there's going to be a lot of options.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these because teams always draft them early. The one time in the NFL's entire existence, they showed some resistance in 2022 and didn't draft guys early.
The only time ever. Yeah.
But that came in part because you came off of 2 consecutive years in which you had 4 or 5 quarterbacks go in the first round of those 2 drafts consecutively.
Yeah.
It's a third of the league. So,
and the other teams have quarterbacks. Eventually there has to be reasonable pathways, right?
Right. And then you get on the other side of it and you go 3 first-round picks and then you go 5 first-round picks at quarterback.
Yeah.
Was it 5 or 6? 6 the following year. So, with that much new volume coming in, obviously players don't work out. The question is, what are the next? Who are the probable opportunities to have success? And I've got a dark horse name as well, Joe.
All right. We'll be excited to learn about that. I have 6 names written down. Kyle's got a dark horse.
Oh, see, I don't know if he's on your list or not. So I'm intrigued to find out who's on your list.
We'll find out and stick with us. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most about 5-hour energy shots is how portable they are. You get big taste in a tiny shot that you can take with you anywhere and get the boost whenever you need it. I've been eyeing some new flavors as well lately, and that limited time cranberry lime flavor looks like the perfect one to try next. And I just love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about that crash later on. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in-store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today.
You play the game. Can we play the game?
Sure.
I'm going to name some quarterbacks and expect to hear whether or not they are on your list.
All right.
See how many I can get before I get one wrong.
Oh, see,
Okay.
These are the moments I love. You know, I
this
love
is spontaneous. We didn't talk about this at all. I just
I
made this
know,
up
yeah.
on the break. I'm like, oh, let's do this. Let's try this. So for some compelling content, to the 2021 NFL Draft, Zach Wilson drafted second overall to the New York Jets, was with the Jets, was with Mike LaFleur. Then the offense goes backwards, and then now he's in Denver with Sean Payton, and then he goes to Miami. Kind of checks the boxes, drafted early, didn't work out, had multiple stops with good offensive schemes in place. Zach Wilson's on your list.
Yeah, I think it's great for Zach that he's not on his second team. He's on his third team. So, yes, actually the first player I have written down.
Whether it's Miami as his third team or another mystery fourth team. Like,
right.
Right.
You just don't want to be the second team. That's right. What we've learned
You're
here.
the one that's got to take the Island of Misfit Toys, right? To give me your broken and I got to fix you. Let's start the process of fixing you.
Yes.
I will go with the same draft class. The third overall pick, Trey Lance, goes to San Francisco, gets traded to Dallas, is now in Los Angeles with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. Trey Lance is also on your list as a reclamation project.
100%. Yes.
Okay. Same draft class. Mac Jones, drafted by the New England Patriots, 15th overall to be a franchise quarterback. It does not work out. He gets traded to Jacksonville and then lands in San Francisco to get reunited with Kyle Shanahan, who's the guy that really wanted him in 2021. You can't convince me otherwise. He's won the last two starts, put together a game-winning drive. We're already seeing the snippets of it. Mac Jones is on your list.
Absolutely. Had a game-winning drive last year for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
This might be the hottest name right now.
Mac Jones.
Possibility. I mean,
Mac Jones. Mike Jones. You didn't get it? You don't get that.
I don't. No. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's fine. 2022 draft, the first-round quarterback was Kenny Pickett. Nobody's mastered the art of stopping for a cup of coffee with a franchise and learning a few things and then going somewhere else than Kenny Pickett has. He's been to Pittsburgh. He's been to Philadelphia.
Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. He got himself a ring. So he's
for like his hometown team too, right? What, he's like an Eagles fan. Could you imagine that? Hey, it didn't really work out. This team that made me a first-round pick, but let me get traded to my real favorite team, win a ring. That's got to be
traded
unreal.
What, 3 times in 2.5 years? Kenny Pickett?
The Browns, and now he's on the Raiders.
Yeah. So Kenny Pickett is on your list.
He's on the list.
Okay. That's the only first-round pick from 22. So I got 3 from 21. I got 1 from 2022. 2023, Anthony Richardson has been benched, drafted 4th overall. Still in Indianapolis. He's got to do some pinballing around before he qualifies for the criteria that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But probably safe to say the ship has sailed because Daniel Jones is mentally and physically through that maturation window and should theoretically be in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't just double down on Daniel Jones if he plays to this standard for the rest of this season. So Anthony Richardson's on your list.
Absolutely.
I have 4.
So do we get to your dark horse?
6. No, we didn't get to my dark horse. And I don't know.
Are you already putting Trevor Lawrence down?
No. My dark horse is Kyler Murray.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Right? So I got the 4 that I was expecting to get through the exercise, and I don't know who your last 2 are with any level of confidence.
I have one more.
So was Kyler Murray on your list?
No, I didn't put Kyler Murray down. No.
Okay. So Kyler was drafted 1st overall in 2019. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, there's been some successful seasons. It's kind of more the Jared Goff type thing. But if the Cardinals end up flopping this year, and they're 2-0, or what, 2-1. And I understand that they're 2-1. But if they are a team that finds themselves in a position relative to what Kyler Murray is getting compensated at quarterback, I think that would be an interesting team to, hey, we have a high pick. Hey, we have a cash out opportunity on Kyler. Do we feel like we've hit our ceiling here? Can we facilitate that and get some assets and make another change? Because, right, this was not the coach or the GM that brought Kyler Murray in. So I think he's one because of the cost of his current contract and the amount of time that he's kind of been there and what the ceiling's been. I think he's a name that maybe somebody else would say, hey, we can do the Ryan Tannehill thing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about reclamation success
I think that's
story.
a good success story. Yeah.
Kyler Murray, I'm going to put him on the list.
I think it's a great call out. I didn't think about him, but he feels super tradable. If you're Arizona, like you mentioned, that this coach, this GM didn't bring him in. And boy, if I'm Kyler Murray, I'm pretty hot that they didn't do anything to help my offense this entire offseason.
It just stood pat.
Right. They make a bazillion things for their defense, right? But like we couldn't get like just some okay receiver to be part of the mix. Like that wasn't something we were thinking about.
The Cardinals could trade Kyler Murray next year and take on less than a $35 million dead cap charge. They would save almost $18.5 million in cap space.
Yeah, I think there'll be a good opportunity for them to do that. I think that's a good call out. Very, very similar to maybe a Jared Goff situation in some ways.
Who are the other two?
I only had one more. You got 5 out of the 6.
I got 5.
You did. Yeah. Wilson,
Okay,
Richardson, Pickett, Lance, and Jones.
Draft dudes do math. I'll show you.
You got 5. And this one, in my defense on this one, I have the player's name and there's 6 question marks next to it. Right. If you looked at my notes, that's what you would see. It's Justin Fields. And I don't feel great here. Okay. I don't. But another player that he's on the 3rd team, which we know is now very helpful there to this working. Physically gifted, obviously. We'll see. I don't think that the Jets have built a very stable infrastructure in terms of playmakers for any quarterback to be successful there. And I figured it would take a little time for them to round out that roster, but he fits the criteria, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. I'm not super optimistic, but I think he's in that position literally right now to do it.
I think that the reason why my mind didn't go to Fields is because he signed a multi-year contract in free agency to be with a team and be the presumed starter. So it's like
he has the opportunity.
Guys, a lot of these guys, it's short-term bridges or end of rookie contract with Anthony Richardson type scenarios. You got one guy on a big contract that was signed a while ago and you've played multiple years on. I guess in my mind, it was Fields just landed on a multi-year starting quarterback contract with the Jets. So that's why my mind didn't go there, but I think that's fair to invoke as well.
Who do you like most in this next wave?
I mean, Mac Jones actually did it, right? His rookie season, it wasn't world-beating, but he was an efficient starting quarterback in a coherent offense.
Yeah.
And then the offense became incoherent because
Matt Patricia is the offensive coordinator. Something really happened in the world.
I think Mac Jones and then having the Shanahan layer mirrors the Daniel Jones going to Minnesota thing for me. And then obviously the Sam Darnold stops in San Francisco and Minnesota before going to Seattle.
And to Mac's credit, no Kittle, no Ayuk. I mean, he's throwing the ball to Pearsall and McCaffrey. And they're short offensive line. Like, I'm impressed with what he was able to do.
I really like Trey Lance in the preseason. I thought he looked he looked confident for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
He's a guy with high tools. He's got higher tools than Mac. I think the thing that Mac has to hang his hat on right now is the fact that he has 2 games worth of starts to kind of point to. That was the Darnold thing, right? Darnold in San Francisco got a few starts and then had the free agency opportunity and went to Minnesota. And then McCarthy gets hurt and he takes the job. And I think Zach Wilson, I liked his preseason tape with Denver a lot. I thought he incrementally got better in each of the 3 preseason showings in Miami. But I do think it's a little tough in that they still, with the McDaniel offense, are so timing and landmark oriented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's ever going to be Zach's
Right.
real cup of tea, right? So I think my question is, can you draw some of the timing, on-time, quick game stuff and that initial processing if you're Zach and apply that to what you learned with working with Peyton for a year? And I think maybe that can be another level up in his game. I think any one of those 3 2021 guys, like I would be compelled if I had a quarterback that I had questions with that was a starter or locked in and I was on the outside looking in. Like, give me any one of those guys over next year, Russell Wilson.
Oh, geez.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Jameis Winston. Like, we know what those guys are. I would at least rather take the swing of the bat on a guy with some upside and ceiling.
All right, we've talked about the success stories, some of the failures, who the next wave could be. To close it out, we're going to get into some philosophical conversations about the thought process of a high pick versus a reclamation project and all the layers that go into that. So, folks, be sure to stick with us. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however I want to bet, whether that's player props, building a same-game parlay, spreads, over-unders, or even building bets as the action unfolds with the live betting. And I had a lot of fun on Monday Night Football with FanDuel. I had Jahmyr Gibbs for 2 touchdowns. We hit on that, and I had an anytime touchdown for Mark Andrews. I was feeling that. He also hit 2. I should have had the 2 touchdowns for Andrews. It's fun, it's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little bit more energy to your game days. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
All right.
Some big layers here, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of team building strategy elements here. Pros and cons on either side from a stability standpoint, an economic standpoint, where do you want to start?
I want to start by acknowledging the task ahead of a high first-round pick quarterback, right? You're young, you're in your early 20s. You are probably a really good college player, and you enter a situation most likely that's not very good, right? A team that maybe has a new coach because the situation prior didn't work out, or a coach that's hanging on and needs you to come in and be really good for jobs to be saved. And it's a big ask, right? It's a big ask for anybody. But generally, the situations that these guys step into are very difficult. Just look at the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward might be awesome, but look at what he just stepped into, a team that's been struggling, a team that has a head coach in Brian Callahan that I think is over his head, questions about the talent around him, and now he's got to step in and elevate. And the guy's never thrown a ball in the NFL until, a couple weeks ago. So I think that where I'd like to start is just acknowledging the difficulty of the task ahead for a high first-round quarterback.
I think what's really jarring to me is you look at some of the names that have gone at the top of some of these drafts and ask yourself, did they organically flip a situation around? And you've had some success stories, but even some of the success stories that exist, those quarterbacks didn't survive there long term, right? Like Bryce Young. Has he been able to elevate the entire situation in Carolina and turn the Panthers around?
Not yet.
Trevor Lawrence. A lot of it not his fault, but it's the vast reaches of the situation. Now, they had a playoff appearance. They won a playoff game. He's now, the organization's been trying to find the right coach to put in place around him. They're a team that I think is really interesting to watch this year, as far as I could see them with the way the defense is playing and if the offense grows, and then that includes Trevor. But that's one of the better success stories out of the first overall pick quarterbacks we're talking about on the north side of Joe Burrow, who obviously changed the entire culture there, really special individual who took a Bengals downtrodden team, and within year 2, they were in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
They've been competitive since when he's been on the field.
Yep.
Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, kind of the Trevor Lawrence thing, but then ends up not working out in Cleveland, gets scapegoated, and goes to a bunch of other teams before he ends up working out. Mitchell Trubisky, Jared Goff, how bad it was early. He kind of has the best case scenario of the Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield experience and then gets traded. Jameis Winston, Blake Bortles, 3rd overall. Andrew Luck, the quintessential bad situation around you, couldn't figure it out. It cost him the back half of his career. Cam Newton's probably the best success story other than Joe Burrow in this picture, and now you're back to 2010.
Yeah.
And all the other first-round success stories are teams like Baltimore going up and getting Lamar Jackson, the Bills having a foundation set and going up and getting Josh Allen, the Chiefs going up and getting Patrick Mahomes. Right now, Washington with Jaden Daniels, a little early on that book to know for sure, but certainly seems like that's another success story of a team that got drafted really high organically.
A lot more of the other stuff.
Yeah.
There's going to be risk associated with whatever you do. If you pick a rookie quarterback that's talented, that's risky. It's also risky to believe that one of these guys that have failed in the NFL already is going to come in and figure it out. But there's a benefit in allowing other teams to do the hard stuff, right? I mean, like there's always going to be an element of failing forward, I think, for quarterbacks in the NFL. And you let somebody else work that through with them and they're calloused and they get to you. And ideally your situation's a little bit better. That unlocks a better version of what they have been previously. I mean, it's a sweet story to tell.
Now, the downside of that is if somebody else does draft him and they have the success, that's the best case scenario, and those players don't become available, right? So I think there is a ceiling on the strategy of what we're talking about with reclamation quarterbacks.
I'm glad you went there, because what do you want to achieve as a team, right? Like, do you want to be good and competitive and, have chances at playoff runs, or do you want to go win the whole thing?
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I think Baker Mayfield, I think you can win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. I think you can.
I think you can.
I got to learn more about Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold, I think if the other stuff is satisfactory, I think you got a chance. If he can get out of his own way, I think you can do it with Jared Goff. So I think there's some nice elements here, but I acknowledging that the ceiling will be higher with the rookie is what is going to push you that way.
And there's also the cost element of it. You're talking about, and for the Colts, we've been talking about Daniel Jones. How many swings of the bat did they get at this before they finally got one right?
A ton.
Right? Like you got to have a certain kind of ownership and a certain level of job security and a certain situation as somebody running a team to say, hey, I know I can go after Phillip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett and Matt Ryan and then draft a quarterback early and miss on him. Who am I forgetting? I'm surely forgetting somebody in this. Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And then do Daniel Jones, and it works out. Like that's an entire 2 life cycles for some teams from a front office and football operation standpoint.
Yeah.
And you got to swing the bat through all of it. So kudos to the Colts for the patience. And obviously it's 3 weeks and we don't want to write the book and say Daniel Jones is a top 5 MVP candidate and these Colts are going to win all these games this year. Like there's a lot of ball game left. We'll find out. But it's been great the first 3 weeks. So that's one piece of it. But then also you're talking about probably that player's not going to be incentivized to sign anything more than a 1-year deal, 2-year deal tops.
Right.
And it's a mature contract. And if you hit, you're now skipping 3 years of cost control, potentially more, technically more with the 5th-year option if you want to tack it on to whatever extension if you hit on a quarterback that you draft. So you're looking at less than half the window before you're paying a mature contract for starting quarterback money. Now, you might not be paying 58,
Right.
but you'll probably pay 45 versus what's Cam Ward's compensation as the first overall pick over the next 4 years.
Probably not that much.
I'm going to pull up the exact cash year over year so we can intelligently disclose that he has $33 million in cash this year, $3 million in 2026, 5.2 in 2027, and 7.5 in 2028.
That feels like an interesting cash structure.
Well, it's the signing bonus up front, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, they're all fully guaranteed deals now too, right?
Right. So it's just how do you want to flow it and how much of it do you want to prorate out as a lump sum? And it's 8.03 million per year prorated out. He doesn't have a cap charge over the next 4 years higher than $15.5 million.
It's a good spot to be for a talented young player.
Versus Daniel Jones signed this year 1 for 14, right?
Yeah.
What's Daniel Jones signing for if he plays like this at the end of the year?
Probably more than what Sam Darnold got with Seattle.
It'll probably look like the contract the Giants gave.
Yeah.
Right?
Right back to it. Yeah.
Go right back to that 4 for 160. And he got 81 of that guaranteed at signing. And that's better than 55, but there's a lot of layers to the economic portions of it that I think make it difficult, in addition to playing the short-term stability versus the long-term stability game.
A lot of different ways to get a quarterback, Kyle. You could pick one high, and they could work out. You could pick one high, and it could not work out. You can go for a reclamation quarterback. It might be Baker Mayfield. It might be Mitch Trubisky. You can go with an old guy, and it might be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. It might be Matt Ryan or Russell Wilson, right? Doesn't it all come back to the situation? No matter what way you go to get a quarterback, it comes down to what is the situation like for them to step into and play their best ball.
Because realistically, how many quarterbacks right now are situation transcendent in the NFL?
Count them on one hand. Maybe
3?
Yeah, maybe 3.
Like, and I love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's not throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Is he Joe Burrow? Or is he a good starter with a team that can't drag you to the wins you need to be playoff relevant at the end of the year?
It's a challenge with Joe Burrow. I've never seen him play
without those guys, right?
Going back to LSU, buddy, he had dudes.
Oh,
right?
he had that 5-game stretch his rookie season, right? Where he had, I think, was the second round pick in that draft class, and then they got Chase the following year.
Yeah, it was. What in college didn't he have Jefferson and Chase?
Yeah,
that should be illegal, right? Like, come on.
We saw that team live. People forget that we saw that team live play.
It's the best football team I've ever seen in college. It's the 2019 LSU Tigers. I will fight that forever.
Loaded.
So yeah, there's only a couple guys that can do this, and comes down to having that situation right, and then obviously getting the right person to tie it all together at quarterback. I think
the challenge of I want to start a whole other show. We'll put that on the back burner. I have a thought there, but we'll get into it another time because we're up against it. We got to get out of here. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino, Locked On NFL Scouting, looking at the future of reclamation quarterbacks. We gave you 7 names to maybe kick the tires on. Joe's list of 6 that I kept thinking was 7, or I thought I only got 4 of. And then my own dark horse name as well, Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. Appreciate you guys checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We are out of here.